Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lumsy. I'm back again with another video on how to make bustier crop top with Basque waistline. If that's what you're looking for, consider watching till the end so you see how I made this Basque waistline. And I'll be sharing some sewing tips and tricks on how to make this lace casing I used here. So make sure you watch till the end so you don't miss any of the sewing tips and tricks. If this is your first time coming across my channel, consider subscribing and hit on the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my sewing tutorial. To my returning subscribers, thank you for always coming back to watch and support by liking and sharing this video. To make this corset, I'll be using half yard of African print or more depending on the sleeve, and I'm going to be using this lining. What I'm using is cotton lining. You need it, make sure it doesn't stretch on both sides. That's the kind of lining you need for your corsets. Also, you need cotton interfacing. Anything you're making for corsets, make sure whatever you're making, the stability will be there. That's why you need cotton, something that will not stretch both ways. Next is this interfacing, is like paper. So in Nigeria we call it paper gum stay. I'm using the medium one. So this is not actually on the bodies, but I'm going to be using it on the lacing, so you watch how I do it. I'll need crinoline. You can use the sewable type, or you can actually use the plastic one, but I don't usually like using the plastic one on the bodies. I like using the crinoline, so that's what I'm going to use. Next is your hemming gum. This is very, very important because it's going to make your work very neat. Next I need is these rulers. They are wonderful rulers, guys. You need to get this type of rulers. It will help you on your curves. Next is the lacing eyelet I'm going to use. I like this particular eyelet. It gives me the room for my ribbon to move in freely, and the aesthetics is very fine. So this is what I'm going to be using. It's called 26, number 26 in Nigeria. I don't know what they call it outside Nigeria. Next I'm going to use is the iron to make the eyelet, and I'm also going to be using a soldering iron to make the open for the eyelet. Actually, you need something that will make both the same hole as the eyelet, so this is perfect and I love it. And next is your tailor's ham. This is actually made by me, but you can buy yours in the market. You see mine is very strong. I love it that way. I customize mine. Next you need is this wonderful small piece tracing wheel. So let's go ahead and make the pattern. I'll be using the bustier pattern I made the last time. If you haven't watched that video, I'm going to be dropping the link in the description section so you know how to make bustier pattern. So this is the outcome of the bustier pattern. But in the last video I made, you will see the shape that I had on the waistline. You see how this came up. This is how it is on the bodies, and I'm going to be taking away all that. The bust or the cup is normal. It's just the lower parts that I'm going to be working on and make the basque effect. You see how the cup is standing? That's how it will stand. I love it. 2-dimension. Is it 2-dimension or 3-dimension? I love it. If your corset is not cupped like this, you have to work on it. You have to really work on it. So let's go ahead and take off this excess on the waistline and make the basque waistline. For me to do that on the waistline, I'm going to take down this to the hemline. I'll take it straight to the hemline, and I'm going to do that on both sides. So let me take this down, or you can go in if you want to. You can even come in more if you want the basque to be fitted more. So I came in more like 1/2 inch and I drew it like that. So I'm going to take this straight down to the hemline, and if I want I can increase it depending on the style of the basque waistline. So this is basically what we're doing on this bustier crop top. I'm going to draw away this and this, so this will not be needed. We're going to be maintaining these 2 straight lines. At the bust area, I'm going to be drawing out the shape of the bust so that I will use this to cut out the bra foam. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to be drawing out this shape here. So I'll just trace out this and use it for the bra foam I'm going to use. So on this place, I will use this ruler and make a curve. Remember, this is the under bust line. So on this place, I'm going to be making out this shape. Use this side of the ruler. That's why I said this ruler is actually nice. So you use it and curve it in. You see how I'm curving it in? That way it will accommodate your bust very well. so you don't have it, it doesn't cut out on your bust. So this actually I will also use to make a corset for my next tutorial. So just if you haven't watched this, if you are not or whatever, make sure you watch this video, because I'm going to be using this same pattern and I will alter some places and get my corset. So I have drawn this out. This I'm going to be tracing it out on another paper. That paper I will use it to cut out the bra form, but I'm not going to cut out this one. I'm just going to trace it out with this tracing wheel. To draw this Basque waistline, remember this is the waistline. I'm going to match up this to draw the design of the Basque waistline. So sorry, I thought I was recording when I was cutting the Basque waistline, but I wasn't. But let me run you through how I cut out this place. So look at still where I cut it off. All I just did, let me just see if I can place it, hold it and show you. So like I showed you before, I placed the front here, I've placed it here. I will align it properly and decide the length of the Basque waistline and the width of the basque. So you decide on that. You can make it 2 inches or 3 inches from here to there, depending, and then you make the curve. I use this ruler to make the curve. That way it gave me a very nice curve. So see what I did there. This is how I use the ruler to cut it off. So we're going to go over to the back. For the back, you already know how I took out that waistline. If you haven't watched my bustier pattern, go ahead and watch it. You know how I remove the waistline and also removed some inches from the waistline, the back waistline. So all I'm going to do here is just to notch up this waistline, the front and the back. I'll match them together and draw the shape, continue the Basque waistline shape. So I'm going to bring this down 2 inches or 1.5 inches depending, and draw the design I want. But for me, I brought it down 2.5 inches. So I'm going to connect this. I'll be working at the back here to create the lacing channel here. So for me to do that, I would walk you through a very simple way so that you understand it. So I'm going to be putting this boning here, and I'm going to put eyelet here, and then again I'm going to put another boning, that's meaning 2 bonings here, like so. So it's going to be like this on the back, like so. This will be for my boning casing, is for my lacing casing. So we're going to be taking the measurements of these 2 and we're going to take them out. So on this, I'm going to take the measurement of this, which I have 1/2 inch here. So I'm going to make it 2 times 2 because it's 2, which is 1 inch. And I'll be adding 0.5 easing for the casing so that the casing would move freely. So meaning for the 2 sides, I'll have 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to take the measurements of the eyelets, which is also another 0.75 inches. I'm going to be adding 1.25 to that, which is 1 inch. So in total we have 2.5 inches, and that is what I'm going to be taking out from this back panel. So this is the only back line I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to cut out this place like this and use just this panel, and that is it for the back. I'll go ahead and cut out these pattern pieces on my main fabric and my lining fabric. So I have gone ahead to do so. This is my main fabric. I have interfaced it with the interfacing I showed you earlier on, and you can see that's the lining. So I'm going to keep the lining aside and join the front panel first. So I'll be going to my machine now, right side facing together. I will join this place and also join the other side. After joining it, this is how it looks. I have also joined the lining and I have notched the both of them. So I'm going to go ahead, open this up and iron it. I'm prepping this to put an invisible boning to this. I'm going to show you sewing tips and tricks on how to put invisible boning to your waistline, your corsets, your bustiers and all that. Before I show you that, I'm going to add bra cup to this corset. So as you can see, this is the bra foam that I'm using. I have cut out exactly the same shape that I made for the bra cup we did in the pattern drafting. I didn't add any sewing allowance to this. I just cut exactly the same shape. So I used this bra foam. As you can see, it's not up to ½ inch. Also, both the back and the front are not adhesive. There's no gum on them. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this. But while sewing it, I'll just go ahead and sew the tip. Remember, we didn't add any sewing allowance, so you just sew on the tip like that. Do the same thing to the other side. So once I was done, look at it. You see how very tiny that I have sewn it. Yes, it will still give you the exact measurement because it's foam. Next, I'm going to fuse this to the main fabric. Since it doesn't have any gum on it, I'm going to be using the hemming gum to adhere this to the main fabric. So I will use my tailor's ham, iron it on it. You just turn it, make sure it's flat, make sure it's as flat as possible, the way you want it to look after making it. So after I'm done making sure it's like that, I stretch out everything, making sure there's no rumple. I'll just go ahead like so and add my hemming gum to it. So just watch what I'm going to do. With the hemming gum, it will adhere nicely, so you go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. Next, we'll be adding an invisible boning to this. So on this place, I'm going to be adding invisible to this. You can add in the center, but since I don't have any seam allowance in the center, I'll just leave that. So I would go to my machine, place this boning on this line. You see, this way, turn it like this, not this way. Just turn it the side that is on curve. So you go to your machine, pick your sewing allowance and sew by the edge of the boning. The boning should be in the center of the seam. So you go ahead and sew it at the edge on the both sides. Once I was done, this is how it looks. You can see it's invisible. I'm going to go ahead and close the lining, understitch it. I'll also sew the hemming and turn it before I now sew the curve. So once I was done, this is how it looks, guys. You see, this is turning out very nicely. You have to really pay attention here. Now this is the center back. I'm going to fold this in and fold the lining in and then sew the upper side. That's the neckline side. So I'm going to sew it like this and turn it and top stitch it, and I will do the same thing at the hemline. So I'm going to also fold the lining in like this and fold the main fabric and then sew it. This is how it looks after doing it. So let me show you. You see the inner side, that's how it would look. So we are going to go ahead and prepare the lacing. So that panel that we made during the pattern drafting is what I have here. I have interfaced it with the hard lining, and what I have here is 12 inches, and I have marked out all the allowances for the casing and the eyelet. So with the right side facing together, I'm going to join this and turn it. Then at the lower part, I'm going to fold it in before I run all the lines that I'm making for the lacing and the casing. I'll make sure when I'm closing it that this will align with the back panel. So I will make sure whatever the back panel is, I'll then fold it in, because I'm going to be inserting this into the opening that we made. After doing that, this is how it looks. Hope you can see the channels that I have made for the casing and the eyelets. And then on this lower part, you will see the hole that we have created. You're going to pass the boning using these holes that you have created, and make sure the boning you're using is going to be shorter than the length of the back line. So after doing that, you are going to close it. But before I do that, let me put the eyelet. Let me show you how I put the eyelet. I'm going to be using this soldering iron and make an opening wide enough to enter the eyelet. If the open is not enough, go ahead and bore more holes so that you'll be able to pass. If not, your eyelet will not sit properly. So once you're done, you go to your eyelet machine and attach this. I'll go ahead and attach all the eyelets, and after doing that, I make sure I close the lower part. You see how strong this is looking, well structured. Go ahead and do that, and then join this to the side seam. You join the side seam. And now guys, we have come to the end of today's video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you have subscribed and hit on the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. To my returning subscribers, thank you. See you on my next video. Bye.